Showing someone something they've never seen before activates their sense of wonder. So whether it's a movie they've never seen before, or they've never seen this building before, or they never knew that this was a historical thing, anything that's new is really good. The reason I don't like dinner dates is because it's happened before. If she's been on 10 dinner dates in her entire life, then you do day 11, it's just a repetition.
So let's talk about 10 free ideal dates. Is there such a thing as a free date that's really ideal? I can
Yes,
think of a few.
absolutely. You don't have to spend money on a date. So what I would look at is places near you. If there's walking distance, that's great. If you have to drive a little bit, the closer, the better. So it's easy. I look for places. There's a lot of free museums. There's a lot of art galleries where they're trying to sell the paintings. You can go for free and look at the paintings. As long as you're, being normal, then they like that because it makes the gallery seem more popular. So most galleries are fine with you going in there. Obviously, again, you don't want to go like the Porsche of galleries if you can't afford it, but like a regular art gallery, they're happy to have people walk in from the street. And that's a great date because it's interesting. It makes you seem cultured. Or you could be silly and kind of make fun of the paintings. Like when I go to older art museums and it's all like ancient art, I'm like, how come everyone used to be so bad at art? Nobody over 1,000 years ago could draw a horse. And that's very funny because I don't know why old art is bad because everyone can draw a horse now. So I think I have fun. You kind of go with either vibe. So I look for things like that. Look up things in your city that are free and kind of unique. So for example, I went to college in Richmond, Virginia. Under the bridge, under the freeway, between two of the pylons, there's a rope swing that almost nobody knows about. And it's right next to a bike trail. And me and my friends would hide our clothes under a bridge and go swim, and you're naked because no one can see you because the pylon is so wide. Obviously, that's not the perfect first date. However, it's a great second or third date. Obviously, you'd keep your clothes on in that situation, but it's because nobody knows about it. In the same way I've talked about my date when I lived in England, which was we'd find these 3 statues from Alice in Wonderland that nobody knew about. Those are free to walk to. So there are a lot of things in your city, like urban art, city art, that cities do to make the place a little interesting. So if you kind of make a plan and you do a little research, you go, oh, this statue's interesting, this statue's interesting, I can go to this place. And you don't need to have 50 first dates. You just need one date. So in my entire successful dating career, I lived in 3 cities, and at each city I had one date. And I would do the same date over and over and over again because I was good at it. Like, I want her to go on a date that's really fun for her, so I'm doing a date that I'm good at. It makes sense. So when you're planning a date, you don't have to spend any money. You really, really don't. There's a big misconception that the more you spend, the more she'll like you. It sets the wrong tone. Instead, she should like you because you have amazing adventures together. And then when they're a little bit more expensive, it just adds a little spice to it. So look for things that are free, parks, adventures, all sorts of stuff that can be really amazing.
Okay, those are very good. Hiking, that's free.
I would not do
Having a
hiking
hike?
for a first date.
No.
So I once saw a woman whose dating profile was like ideal first date, a walk in the woods. And I said, I'm not going on that first date. But anywhere that's like public park hike is great.
Right.
So something like that.
Right.
You just don't want to go where there's no one around because you
Right.
want it to have a little bit of a sense of safety. But anything that's like a walk in the park or a walk like that, it can be really amazing. Look, cloud watching is amazing. When's the last time you lied down and look at clouds and looked at the shapes? That's a great first date. Very simple, but no cost.
Also, you could get familiar with some architecture if that's something in your area, and you could do a little architectural tour. That's a good one. Some places have really interesting architecture, like you said. History, like you said, your Alice in Wonderland statues is a small part of this whole thing. Every place has history, right? You could go to houses. I know I've been in places where we've gone to houses. We just passed, like they call them walking tours. So you could Google. I don't use Google, but you could look up walking tours, like on Brave Search or DuckDuckGo, and then you have a walking tour. What do you think about that as a date? Not a long walk, but
Yeah, I mean, I like a 20 to 30-minute walk for a date. I think it's really good. It's manageable and it's not too much. You do have to watch out because this is happening where a girl showed up in really, really high heels
right.
and she couldn't walk anywhere. So I learned my lesson that you have to have a plan B if that happens because I never thought of that before. I always wear comfortable shoes. So keep that in mind. A walking tour is good as long as you're not part of a group, but that's a great variation. One of my friends used to go to all the haunted pubs in London.
Yes.
And there's also, you can do a walk through different haunted locations. Those things are popular for a reason. And it's showing someone something they've never seen before activates their sense of wonder. So whether it's a movie they've never seen before, or they've never seen this building before, or they never knew that this was a historical thing. Anything that's new is really good. The reason I don't like dinner dates is because it's happened before. If she's been on 10 dinner dates in her entire life, then you do day 11, it's just a repetition. So I want to do something that's a unique memory. That's just me. Oh, Jonathan's the only person who took me on a date to an art gallery, or took me on a walk of the 3 haunted houses in this town, or took me to see the 5 houses that rich people built and then ran out of money, right? There's all sorts of things. I used to see this house when I lived in Nashville that always looked to me like a Stephen King house. It had like a weird spire in front of the house and kind of like postmodern art. That is the kind of place I go, let's go look at this house. I don't want to go inside. It feels very scary, but also creates a sense of adventure because it's something new. I love your ideas. Those are great.
Excellent.